Gates is selling his stocks to prepare for one of the worst economic disasters in history. Gates is known as a CEO and is even better at capital growth through investments, with the help of his fund manager Michael Larson. Gates has managed to make $50 billion in the past 20 years. Gates and Larson not only made billions from the stock market, but also successfully prepared for the dot-com bubble and the 2008 recession. This allowed them to consistently outperform the S&P 500 and increase their wealth to new heights. Gates and Larson are now aggressively preparing for what will become one of the worst recessions of all time. It is no secret that the economy is in a difficult position. The US economy is experiencing accelerated inflation, the lowest consumer spending in history, the Russia-Ukraine war, low consumer savings rates, and record debt levels. The government injected trillions of dollars into the economy in 2021, and in 2022, the complete opposite happened with the government removing trillions of dollars from the economy. Gates is especially concerned about the artificial trap the Federal Reserve has created for itself. The economy is currently being hit by a double-edged sword. One blade is accelerating inflation, and the other is the huge level of government debt. The government now has two options: destroy the US dollar or break the economy. Running the risk of bursting the debt bubble, the Federal Reserve decided to follow the second option to decelerate the economy under the risk of an unprecedented collapse. Recently, we have seen the Federal Reserve increase interest rates by 75 basis points, which is the largest increase since 1994. This increase significantly helps to slow down inflation for business investments and mortgages. 30-year fixed mortgage rates have recently jumped by the largest one-week leap in 35 years. If this increase in interest rates slows down too much, the economy may burst the existing debt bubble and lead the economy into a recession or depression. An increase in oil prices is strongly correlated with recessions. Every time Brent crude crosses $100 per barrel, almost always a recession occurs. Brent crude is currently around $120 per barrel, signaling that a recession is on its way. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index shows that consumer sentiment is currently at its lowest since the 2008 recession. The economy operates in cycles with debt levels continually reaching peaks and troughs in a cyclical manner. Gates and Larson recognized that 2021 represented a period of immense speculation in preparation for a collapse in the US stock market. Gates and Larson have been implementing a variety of hedge strategies. At the time of this video, the S&P 500 is still over 15% above the pre-pandemic peak. We do not see any reason for this to be the case. The economy was much stronger before the pandemic. Consumer activity was growing, and so was the supply side. The pandemic has a serious impact on both consumers and suppliers. Printing money alone cannot drive economic activity back to pre-pandemic levels. The economic impact of the pandemic is still felt today. People's behavior in terms of wanting to travel or go to events or even go to a restaurant has been completely altered by concerns about the disease, as well as the fragile economic environment. Gates also does not believe that the pandemic has ended. Gates told the Financial Times that we still run the risk of this pandemic creating a strain that would be even more contagious and even more deadly. He explained further, saying that it is not likely. I don't want to be the voice of doom, but we have a 5% risk that we have not seen the worst of this pandemic yet. Therefore, we not only have inflation on high liabilities, but also a pandemic that could still worsen. All these combined factors, and with the United States at risk of a frightening economic and social crisis. Gates mentioned productive assets as his specialty when it comes to investing, but in fact he is selling his assets. His most recent quarterly record for the first quarter of 2022 revealed that he sold millions of shares in various companies, and this included over $1.3 billion from Berkshire Hathaway, over $500 million from Caterpillar, and a wide range of other shares. To understand why Gates is selling his shares, we need to delve into the strategy of Michael Larson. Larson is the brain behind the operation. He knows exactly how to maximize alpha, which is known in the investment world as the return adjusted for risk. While the market plummeted greatly during the year 2008, Gates experienced a very small decline in his net worth. According to sources close to him, although Larson's strategy remained secret, we know from public records that it reflects Buffett's investment strategy. If we take a look at Gates' holdings in his portfolio, we can see that most of these companies wouldn't be impacted by economic fluctuations. An example of this is the waste management stock, of which Gates owns $3 billion. Nobody is going to stop dumping their trash because the stock market fell 50%. Another component of Larson's strategy includes diversification into other asset classes. Gates is the largest private owner of agricultural land in the US for two reasons: the high yield and diversification. Agricultural lands had an average return of over 11% from 1991 to 2018, with no year being negative. This is because during a recession, people won't stop eating food. This allows agricultural lands to have a high alpha as it offers high returns with little or no disadvantage. Larson is also known for investing in alternative assets such as private equity, which involves buying private companies similar to agricultural lands. Private equity is a sector that is not available to retail investors like you and me. However, for Gates, private equity is a fantastic way to further protect his portfolio through diversification.